Can anybody hear me at all? All right, whoever's in, are you able to hear me now? Is it like a lot better or just like, can you hear me clearly? All right, cool. So yeah, um, I'm almost done taking a break from drawing, so I might start like in a few minutes. Let's see, it's 5:39. Yeah, about 5:45 ish. I'm gonna start drawing again. But in the meantime, you guys can ask whatever you want to ask, or comment whatever you want to comment, whether it be about myself or the channel or the content on the channel or just whatever. Doesn't have to be nothing specific. We can just chat about anything, really. Um, but in the meantime, while we get a conversation going on in the chat area, uh, I did want to try to see if I could share something, but now looking at it, I don't think it's gonna let me. I was gonna try to like screen share so I could show you guys something, but I guess YouTube has not gotten around to that yet. So it'll be for another time. But basically I was gonna show you guys a video that I came across today while at work, obviously on my break, um, about how the public sees TSA, how the traveling public perceive TSA to be. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because obviously, I'm a TSA officer, uh, even though it's not government contracted. I mean, it is government contracted. It's not government, federal or whatever. I'm still held to a higher standard than the regular TSA. And it just baffles me how the traveling public views us officers while at the checkpoint. And believe me when I say this, but I've been traveling since I've been like really young, and throughout my whole life, I've never had any problems like traveling. Like I've never had any issues or nothing like that. And so, being on the other side, being the officer, and handling and dealing with the public on a daily basis, it just really takes a toll on the officer. Like, and I can clearly see why certain people think of the TSA a certain way, and it's not because of what happens at the checkpoint. Because at least not in the airports that I've worked in, and I've worked in 3 different airports altogether. Well, within 3 years. But yeah, it's not because of what happens at the checkpoint per se. I think it's because of how the media portrays the TSA and like movies and TV shows and all that. And I just gotta say, trust me when I tell you, all right? If you're a frequent flyer or not a frequent flyer, just like someone who travels like maybe once a year or something like that, um, I got to tell you guys, you know, it takes you a long way when you listen to instructions and just, I'm not saying to blindly, what I'm saying, like follow orders or whatever. Obviously be conscious of what's being asked for you to do. But at the same time, be aware that us officers at the checkpoint, what we look for is just getting you to your destination safely, making sure that nobody has anything that they're not supposed to have on them, weapons, explosives, bombs, or things that could be put together to build a bomb, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The whole thing about TSA like loving to harass people or like quote unquote, sexually abuse people with the pat downs and all that. I gotta say, is excuse the pardon the French, but it's retarded. Okay, let me just say that every officer that's at the checkpoint on a daily basis, the only frustration that we have is knowing that that workday is going to be intense, not because of what we have to do, but because people make it harder for themselves. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a quick example of what I mean. Okay, this is a very basic example. So, if you're a passenger and you're traveling, right, and you're here in Florida, okay, and you're flying from whatever Orlando International Airport or Orlando Sanford Airport or whatever airport in Florida, from here to say up north, somewhere like New York or whatever. If you have a bunch of coats on because you want to be ready for the weather in New York, but you're still in Florida, you're done. Okay? And let me go a step further. If you want to do that, okay, if you want to be dumb and get ready before you're even up north, then at least wait till you cross the checkpoint first and then put your 5 coats on or whatever. It makes no sense knowing that you're still in Florida weather, okay, and even the airport in itself isn't extremely cold. It's like moderately cool, if anything. It makes no sense to wear and be prepared for the weather on the other side when you're still at the airport. So best advice I can give you in that aspect is dress comfortably. Best thing you could do, whether you're a guy or a girl or whatever, a t-shirt or a tank top and some joggers or sweatpants or shorts, some sandals, whatever, just to get through the checkpoint process. Okay. If you want to wear something else afterwards, after you cross the checkpoint, just have like a spare clothes to change afterwards inside your backpack or check-in bag, or I mean not check-in bag, the carry-on bag. But just make it easier on yourself, okay? Because let me tell you, if you're wearing 1, 2, 3 coats as you're trying to get through the checkpoint, it's gonna be a nightmare for you because we're gonna have to tell you to take some of that stuff off. You're not gonna like it. You're gonna be mad or upset or whatever, and that starts escalating to something else. And yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to try to strip you or nothing like that. We just want you to go through as quickly as possible, as painless as possible, without us having to touch you as much as possible. And yeah, it just kind of like really boils my blood when I see people or hear people talking about, oh, the TSA, loves touching people, or the TSA loves abusing people, or whatever they want to say. I'm like, if you were on our side, you would know that nobody, no officer, okay, is thrilled about the job. Why? Because obviously nobody wants to be touching anybody else, especially in areas where, nobody wants to be touched at. And just knowing that the passenger already has, a certain mentality that we enjoy that for whatever reason, it makes it hard on us, man. Like it's really a painful thing having to wake up every day knowing that you have a job that's very, it's important and it's essential or whatever, especially like right now, with everything that's going on. It makes it really hard on any officer because it's like we all want to get you guys through as fast as possible. But then you have the passengers that just be like, oh, why do I have to do this? Or why do I have to take this off? Or, this is abuse of my rights or whatever. Listen, man, we're trying to make sure that you don't alarm nowhere, okay, at all. That way we can clear you as fast as possible. You get on your flight, you go to your destination, and end the story. Like, but nobody, no passenger, at least not the majority. The majority of the passengers think that we love harassing people, we love, making it difficult on them or whatever. And it's just not true. It's just not true. And I could vouch for any officer, at least in my airport. I can't speak for every airport, but from my airport, I know my guys, I know the officers that work with me, and they're just like, man, if people only knew that, if they would listen to the advice that we've given them as they're going through, they would go through here painlessly, quickly, and that's it. But everybody, there's a lot of people, a lot of passengers that really just, I don't know if it's the way they are, like naturally, or traveling makes them be that way, but they're like very difficult people. And most of them are entitled. And we can't, if it's one thing we can't stand at the checkpoint, is entitled passengers, especially if they're pre-check. God forbid they're pre-check and the pre-check lane is closed. You know, is really, that's another thing. You have people who pay for the pre-check service, okay? And nobody explains to them, okay? Because we're not in charge of pre-check. TSA does not handle the pre-check service. We're not in charge of that. That's a whole thing on its own. Like that's another service altogether, and people pay for that service. Yet nobody explains to them that hey, this is not a sure thing, 100%. So you're buying the service, acknowledging that not every time you fly, you're gonna get this service. Nobody explains that to them. It's like kind of like giving a lottery ticket to somebody and you say, hey, you have really high chances of winning, you know, with this ticket, but not not saying, but I can't guarantee anything. You have high chances of winning it, but I cannot guarantee that you'll win it. It's like what's going on with pre-check. And yeah, man, I know. It is. And then the thing is, like when the pre-check passenger is on the standard lane and they see that they don't have the pre-check lane itself like open or whatever, they want all the benefits on the standard lane. And so me and all of my fellow officers, we try to tell them in advance, like, hey, we're giving you this blue card, okay, letting you know the pre-check lane is closed. This is a standard lane, but you still, you know, get to keep your shoes on or whatever. And you know, we tell them read the blue card carefully. Read it carefully. Follow the instructions. And it's like most of the passengers, they hear us because we see them acknowledging what we're saying, and then on the other side, you know, we hear them already complaining. Oh, why do I have to take my shoes off? Listen, if anything on your person, alarms, okay, whichever machine, and most likely you'll be going through the walk-through metal detector, okay? But whether it be the walk-through metal detector or the AIT, okay, if you alarm in any area, guess what? We have to clear that area. We cannot just give you a free pass while you alarm just because you're pre-check. Like that does not make any sense. Like, oh, I'm sorry. You alarmed and you might have like a weapon on you, but you're pre-check. It's fine. Go right ahead. But let's see. Okay, hey, what's up? Let's finish one. What up, Andrew? What's going on, man? That's good. That's good. I think I'm still waiting on the comic book that you tagged me on a few days ago. But when it gets in, I'm totally doing a video on that. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. I have not forgotten you. You have not been forsaken. All right. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. But by the way, before I continue on my little rant here, what comics did you order? You know what? Yeah, is it? Did you order like Batman comics? Did you order, you know, Spider-Man comics? Let me know. But yeah, so pre-check passengers, they really, for the most part, they frustrate me because the entitlement that goes, you know, hand in hand with being a pre-check passenger or an expedited passenger, that's the other thing. Like, you have expedited passengers, okay? We're talking about 75 years or older. It never happens with 12 years or younger, but typically, if you're expedited, you're 75 and older. Oh, that's pretty cool. 3 Jokers variants. That's awesome, bro. You should do a video on that, man. that you should do like a review on the comics that you buy. But yeah, like expedited passengers that are 75 and older, um, same thing with them. Like if they, for whatever reason, they alarm in the shoes or whatever, and we ask them to remove them so we can clear the alarm, they have a hissy fit. They're like, "Oh, but I thought I didn't have to because I'm 75 or 76 or 80." Same thing. Like I don't care how old you are. All right. Sad to say, I don't like sounding like a douche here, but nobody cares how old you are. All right. What we care is about clearing the alarm, making sure that we're doing our part, and being able to say, okay, we cleared the alarm before we let that passenger through. That's what we care about. So, sorry to say if it sounds mean or whatever, I apologize if it comes off the wrong way, but it is what it is. It's a job, it's a responsibility, and on our end, we do try to pretty much do our part and be held accountable and responsible for how we do our job. So, but yeah, the checkpoint, man, I tell you, I see so many things going on in the airport, like whether it be at the checkpoint or in the bags area, it's ridiculous. And I always try to, uh, I guess, save it in my memory so I can like either do a video on some of these things or write it down to make some kind of like book on it afterwards because it's ridiculous the amount of things that we see happen. You know, things that go through, things that alarm, things that sadly we have to follow procedures on. Uh, I think a few days ago, no, was it? I think it was last year. Yeah, yeah, that was a big leap. Last year, um, I was on the checkpoint and there was like four huge lines and it was like really busy or whatever. And I see this one specific passenger, he looks like somewhat what resembles a hippie or whatever. And there, I look at him at first and he looks chill. He looks like calm, looks happy. He's talking to people, laughing, haha. And I kid you not, okay, it may have been like maybe 10 minutes or less. And the lines were moving because obviously on our side we do our job fairly fast. Okay. Like when it comes to us screening the passengers and screening the property, we do it really fast. And so the line was moving. But apparently this passenger um, had somewhat of a mix up in the understanding of when his flight was like departing, meaning that he thought he was like super early for his flight, when in reality he found out um, a little too late that he was late. So as soon as he found that out, I mean, he out of nowhere, like a freak of nature, just yelled at the top of his lungs, "Help! Can somebody help me, please? Anybody help me?" Just on and on, just screaming at the top of his lungs for help, and asking for security to help. And the thing is, we would love to, if you're late for a flight, us, well, at least me, I can't speak for any other officer, but myself, okay, I would love to have the ability to be like, "Oh, you're late for your flight? Dang, come on, man. Like, I'm going to get you through and get you to your plane as fast as I can. I'm going to help you get to your flight." That is out of our control. We cannot move you up the line. We cannot drag you into the screening area. It's that's out of our hands. Um, the best thing I can do, or any other officer can do, is say, "Hey, man, if you're late, best you could do is ask the person in front of you if they're on a different flight, And if they're willing to give up the spot for you, that's about it. That's the only thing we can do. If they're okay with it, if they're okay with you letting them cut you or whatever, go right ahead. We can't stop that. But from there to actually like grabbing you and be like, all right, come on, you're late. We're gonna get you on this plane or whatever. We can't do that. Like, as much as I would want to, it's out of our control. So that was a long tangent on checkpoint and airport and the TSA. But yeah, work is work, I guess. And as much as I would love for it to be enjoyable and fun, and it is exciting from time to time. I'm not gonna lie, because things do happen, like that one guy who's screaming at the top of his lungs. But it's not as fun as it used to be. And when I say fun, I just mean like pleasant. It's not. When I first started about 2 years ago, it was no 3 years ago. Yeah, it was enjoyable because I don't know, for whatever reason, the flight loads weren't so many as it is like nowadays. And so I guess it was like calmer and more collected, and the people were more pleasant to deal with, I guess. And I guess not you, but like me as an officer starting out, wanting to, be the very best I could be at the time and be as helpful as I could be at the time. I guess that kind of made it go by easier too. But after 3 years of like seeing how people treat you at the checkpoint, you know, most passengers, if not all, have little to no respect for you. Like it hasn't happened to me yet, thankfully, but I have heard of some stories from other checkpoints, from other airports, how these passengers just kind of like disrespect the officers in some amazing ways. We're talking about the officer trying to clear an alarm that the machine displayed on the screen or whatever, and them having to do a pat down. We have these passengers that apparently, in a way, like do somewhat sexual like things like to these officers. I'll give you a quick example. I heard of this one story of this male officer doing a pat down, which was part of protocol procedure, and the passenger just went and grabbed the officer's head and just rubbed it against his like frontal area, and obviously, that guy, the passenger, got escorted out and all that good stuff. And I don't know how the officer proceeded with that um, situation, but it's we get little to no respect, y'all. Like it's crazy because once again, I said it earlier in the other streams and even on this one. None of us want to touch you guys. None of us want to do these pat downs on you. It's just protocol and procedure. We're just doing as we're trained. It's not our fault that the machine alarmed on you in certain areas. That's not our call. We don't make the machine alarm on you on certain areas, as some people would have you believe. And it just pains me that every day that I go to work, like that's a possibility of me just doing my job, going about my business, and possibly being disrespected in that way. It's kind of like really messed up. But anyways, enough about work because I'm getting a little depressed over here. So I'm gonna just kind of try to get back to drawing. All right. If anybody has any questions or any comments or whatever, feel free to talk about whatever you wish in the chat area. All right. I'll be looking back and forth from the drawing pad to the screen. All right. I'll be looking at the reference that I'm drawing from as well. So if I do not answer your question or your comment like right away, then now you know why, right? But I will be definitely looking back and forth in the chat area, seeing if anybody has any questions or any comments. And feel free to ask about the channel or the content on the channel or myself, whatever. Like whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm up to talk about. Try to be respectful though on the chat area. Try to keep the cussing and cursing to a minimum, right? And that's the only thing I ask. I don't really ask for too much. Conversations are open to whatever, but just language, keep it as clean as possible. That's the only thing I ask. But yeah, so I'll get back to trying to draw Static Shock because it is not coming out as good as I want it to come out, as with many of my drawings. But obviously this one, even less than usual because once again, I'm like rushing through it and I'm not really taking the time to, measure the symmetry of the body and the head and all that stuff. So it's kind of like a doodle or like a rough draft, It is what it is, like however it comes out. And if it does not come out anywhere near to what I want it to be, then I'll definitely just scratch it and just do something new altogether. So it all depends, right? So yeah, just write something over here. Just for anybody who missed what I just said. And I'm going to play one of my beats because apparently YouTube or Google has this really anal obsession with like as soon as they pick up on an artist's song or whatever, like in the background, they immediately like stop your stream or whatever, and it's like really messed up. I can't even hear the music now. Almost. Dear God, help me. I cannot hear the music. Well, that sucks. Cannot hear anything at all. And I can't play the music on my Bluetooth speaker over here, so I kind of sucks even more. But here's what it is. You know what? I think I'm gonna go for something simpler because this right now I cannot concentrate. I don't know why. This is not the moment, I guess, for this character, sadly. Trust me, I want to draw him really bad, but sometimes, I don't know, it's kind of like the same thing with music. You got to like be in the mood and like feel it to do certain things. And just right now, I'm not feeling this. So I'll just do something a lot more simple. So that way there's no frustration. Like if it comes out bad, whatever I choose to draw now, I won't be as upset, because when you draw or want to draw like a specific character that you really like, and you mess up on them, it's like really like frustrating, because you want to do the character justice, But if you're just drawing anything, like just doodling or just drawing like a character that you're not too serious about, then if you do mess up, it's not like a big deal. If that makes any sense. So I'll do myself a favor and go ahead and draw something easier, something fairly basic. I might have to use my phone to pull up the reference, or I might just pull it up on the screen over here again. Let's see. I can't even see who's on here right now. Is it saying like somebody else? You can tell me who it is though. I think I might draw Mordecai and Rigby from the regular show. It's something like a lot, easier or whatever. So if y'all excuse me, I'm gonna look up an image. I think I like this one. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll do this one. I hope this comes out better than the original, because I don't want to do like an exact copy of what I'm looking at here. But I mean, it's Mordecai and Rigby. All right, so let's get to it. You know what? I'm going to use my regular pencil this time. I think that also has a lot to do with performance sometimes. But yeah, guys, whoever's on, feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'll be listening. Well, not listening, obviously, but I'll be watching the chat area as best as I can. So we got Mordecai. He's got like a water drop type head. Let's see if I can do him any justice. I'll make him big too, because I don't want to make him the same size either, because I mean, it's just the point of wasting all this paper and just for like a small drawing. So let's see. I wonder if I can change the title of the chat. Is there a way of changing that information? No, I guess not. That kind of sucks. Yo, Eric, what's going on, man? What's good? Hey, by the way, I've been looking at the messages that you sent me through Instagram. I'm trying to somehow like either transfer some of that stuff into the computer. That way I can like edit some of it, or if not all of it, and make some kind of like compilation video. If you're okay with me doing that, let me know. Yeah, I'm drawing right now, but while I'm drawing, I'm taking in any questions or comments any of you have, like about the channel, myself, the content on the channel, or just anything in general. All right, man, I appreciate that, man. And it's really good information. It's a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the information that you've shared with me through Instagram is so much that I'm trying to take my time and really like look through it, like cautiously, I guess, and analyze what I can use, for that compilation video and what I shouldn't use or whatever. And yeah, so it's if I take my time, that's why. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But also keep in mind, um, I would love to do an interview with you, like I said a few days ago. Benno, what's going on, man? What's going on, Benno? Um, I would love to do an interview, um, and just pretty much get your perspective on, how you got to, come to know all these predator poacher channels and what drew you to those channels and everything in between, basically, because I would love to see somebody else's perspective on things when it comes to, that content. So you and I forget the other name, but I think it's a she. She she's another viewer that also has great information always, and she's always commenting on all the videos basically. How old am I? How old do you think? How old do you think I am, Beno? How old do I look, basically? Sure, I'll let you guess. I wish, man, that ship sailed a while ago. I wish I was 23 again. That'd be nice. Have my hair back and all that good stuff. Sadly, that's not the case. Um, I'm kind of further up there. Let's see. We should be out. Yeah, nah, man. Uh, yeah, I mean everything in mind. Hold on, Jay. I think Nate, all the best and come. To answer the question, I am 31 and kicking. I'm still alive, healthy, thank God. Yeah, I'm 31. And Eric, yeah, man. See, okay, so as I said in one of my last videos, I've watched a lot of predator catching content from different channels, and yeah, we are 1988, and it's Rami, the way he goes about like the intensity, but at the same time, uh, the responsible way he goes about it, somewhat respectful. I wouldn't say respectful. I'd say professional. the way he communicates with these predators is, in my mind, it's the right amount of intense with the right amount of respect or tolerance, if you will. And I think all predator catchers should, take him as an example of more or less how to go about it. Not to take away from how the other channels do it. You're a more mature person. You know what, Benno? Honest to God, um, if I had the time, to go out and do predator catching, I totally would, because I love the idea of, as a community, as people in our neighborhoods, um, taking charge and going out there and doing our part and getting these predators like locked up or put away or whatever on the list, while the cops chase, bigger or more important things according to them, then, I'm all for it. I'm all for the community, taking action and taking charge of their streets. I don't think we as people, the community, should like think a certain way, like, oh, this is terrible, these predators are roaming the streets, but then not do anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel a certain way and I think a certain way, I should be able to take action towards, my beliefs and my train of thought when it comes to, you know, uh, keeping the streets clean. So if I had the time, I totally would. The problem is that for me, my schedule is this. So I wake up at 2:25 in the morning every morning from Monday through Friday to get ready for work. Okay, I get at work whatever 3:30 ish and start at 4 in the morning and don't get out till 12:30. So by the time I get out, basically I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Um, I want to rest or take a nap or whatever, which I don't do, because when I get home, pretty much I change and start either recording a video or editing a video or something to do with the channel, pretty much, and try to get the channel moving. So obviously I don't get any rest right away. I just pretty much focus on trying to get the channel going and making sure I have content to put out. And so I kind of like keep my focus on that. If at some point I see that the channel is where I would like it to be, to where I can comfortably say, okay, it's whatever, a stable form of like extra income or whatever. If it gets to that point, then definitely you could bet your pants that I would gladly get some kind of like uh, body camera type gear, or like glasses with a camera or something, and I would give it a shot. I would totally give it a shot. The whole predator catching thing, because the passion is there. Like, I have passion towards that kind of objective, and I do have the drive for it. I just need to, pretty much be in a scenario financially to where I can say, okay, I'm stable here, and I have this free time to like do this extra thing. Then yeah, I'll definitely be up for it. I have no fear of any predator. Like, there is absolutely no iota in my body that is scared of any predator, any child molester, any whatever. Like, I have zero fear and zero tolerance for any of that kind of behavior. So put one and one together, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's pretty like sure that the only thing missing is the time and the financial stability and peace to say, okay, I'm good. I got my bills paid or whatever, And so now I have the free time. Now I can actually go and do this extra thing. Not not because, you know what I'm saying, of any specific reason other than keeping the children around me, around the area safe, and the parents, keeping them at peace, knowing that there's somebody, okay, somebody who's not getting paid to pretty much keep their children safe, but is out there for the love of the actual, um, you know, what's the word? Project. I can't find the word right now, but basically, you know, the fact that if I go out there to do this, just knowing for myself and having the peace of mind that I'm, being a part of a movement that protects the children in the neighborhood. And obviously, by protecting the children, you're, like I said earlier, you're keeping the parents at peace and the families at peace. And if everybody's at peace, then it's all good, at least, concerning that. So, yeah, I mean, as soon as I see myself able to go for it, I'll definitely go for it. But yeah, that might take a while because this channel, it is growing fairly fast, uh, so fast that I haven't been able to even do like a thank you video, like for the 200, 300, and 400 mark that we crossed already. I tend to try to be very grateful and thankful for anybody who's willing to pass through the channel and check out the content, whatever content it is, because there's a lot of stuff going on my channel, and sadly I have not been able to pick a niche out yet, and it kind of sucks because I don't want to be one of those channels that's like all over the place. But the problem is that there's so many things that I have to offer that it's hard to stick to like one specific niche. So, that's something that I'll be fixing as time goes on. But yeah, definitely expect that when I'm stable and everything, I'll definitely take up the mantle, if you will. But yeah, this shouldn't be that hard. I think. I don't know who. Okay, let's see. I can't see. All right, so it's just for Benno. It's just you and me for the moment. But I can't see who else is in here. But for right now, I can only see it's you and me. So if you got questions or comments or whatever, feel free to ask or say, man. I'm just, don't mind me. I'm just drawing or whatever. But I can multitask. So let's see. The ear starts up here. I guess I should have drawn the whole head. Let's do that. Let's do basically this. Should make that small. Hmm. So the subscriber or the channel or person I was thinking of earlier is knowledge is power. So sorry for the brain fart earlier in the live stream where I was trying to remember the name of a frequent commenter on the videos that I really do appreciate uh, greatly because whoever they are, I don't know who they um, are, like in the sense that I don't know. I have a feeling it's a female, but I can't guarantee 100% if it's a female or male. But I perceive it to be a female for some reason because of the way they express themselves and talk. I could be wrong, but knowledge is power. Channel on YouTube. Um, I appreciate their comments on every video and all that good stuff. And I know I just kind of like came out of nowhere and just like said that right now, but it's because it just kind of like I looked at the comments real quick because I couldn't remember for the life of me who it was. But they always have great information. They know how to break stuff down when it comes to like the videos of like Rami and the predator poaches and all that. And I really do appreciate them greatly. So if they are out there watching this now or later or tomorrow, a big shout out to you. Knowledge is power. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, whoever you are. And yeah, it's good to have you on the team and in the community. I appreciate all my subscribers equally, but obviously because you comment frequently on more videos and all that, and I've gotten to kind of see through your comment um, what's your perspective on things and uh, pretty much what's your spirit, your well-meaning spirit, and all of this. So, you know, in a way, somehow I've gotten to know you just through the comments. So I appreciate you just a tad more than everybody else. But but I love all y'all equally. Like every single one of you. I mean, I cannot thank you enough for subscribing to the channel, for just taking the moment to pass by the channel and check out any one of my videos. Um, I truly, genuinely do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Every single one of you. You guys are the best, hands down. Um, I would not trade any of you for anything because, without you, I wouldn't be here doing this right now. And drawing is, one of my passions. So, it's kind of like pushing me to pretty much get back on the horse of like drawing and all that. And I truly do appreciate this. So this kind of helps out a lot. And yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick before I forgot. So for anybody who's on here, whether it be now or later or whatever, um, do check out Knowledge is Power's channel. Just give him a shout out, you know. And yeah, and Benno, um, I do believe this is the first time that I interact with you personally or directly um, via like chat or in general. I think it's the first time I actually see your username pop up. But thank you for checking the live stream out. Thank you for uh, chatting on here. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, it's awesome to have you around. Okay. Guys, whoever's on, I can't really tell right now. I'm sorry. I usually don't tend to like do streams without like any music playing in the background because like I think it's like boring that way if you have no music. But as I explained earlier, um, YouTube or Google or both or whatever um, has a strict policy, I guess, on playing music, um, well, any music in that case. It'll pick up on music, and if it detects any music that's not royalty free, it just pretty much pauses or stops your stream altogether, forcing you to start a new one with either royalty free music or silence. So I tried putting a beat of mine because I do make beats from time to time. I tried putting a beat of mine earlier, but now for whatever reason it's not wanting to play. I'm gonna try it one more time. Yeah, it's not wanting to play the music on my end, so I apologize for that. I really do hate to do this stream without any music at all. So, but it is what it is, I guess. Any movies you're excited to see? Wonder Woman 1984 is on top of my list. Zack Snyder's Justice League's quality will vary, but I think I would personally find it fulfilling. So, Andrew, to answer that question, um, I am somewhat excited for that movie. Um, the problem is, like, I mean, I know you might have a different opinion because I kind of like get a feel of like what's your taste and all that. But thus far, lately, like the DC movies have really let me down. Um, let me see how I can explain this. Uh, I'll put it to you like this: the last DC movie that I was actually completely satisfied with was maybe either The Dark Knight um, or The Dark Knight Rises. Um, every other movie that came out after that, besides I guess like Man of Steel was okay too. But every movie that has come out after those movies, I feel that the plots of the movies weren't well put together. It was like forced. It was like rushed. Especially the Justice League movie. It kind of like really let me down like a lot because once again like it felt like rushed. Like I felt like that point in time they were trying to compete with the Marvel movies, and they I don't want to say they tried to mimic, but they tried to kind of do their like uh, style of like or version of like the Avengers or whatever, and in my opinion they rushed it, which kind of like led to a weak plot storyline, Um, the acting from like the Flash and uh, the guy who played Cyborg didn't convince me. I think Ben Affleck he did an okay job as Batman. I wasn't like thrilled about it. Wonder Woman, uh, she's doing a great job at her role. Um, so I guess in that case, I am somewhat excited to see like the Wonder Woman movie because um, the actress, I forget her name, Gal Gadot. I hope I said that right. Gal Gadot or something like that. I'm horrible with names, but she I think does a great job at playing the role. Um, and obviously she looks the part and all that. And so yeah, so I guess in that sense, that's the only movie, at least on the DC side, that I'm excited to like actually see. Um, Anything else aside from that, like the Flash movie and all that, I'm not too thrilled to like actually see it come, to fruition because once again, nothing against the guy who played Flash in the Justice League movie because I think he and himself is a great actor, but I think the direction could have gone differently with how he handled that character. Um, I don't know. He came off as too, and don't get me wrong, because I've seen different variations of different characters of the Flash. Like for example, like the TV series Flash versus the animated series Flash and all that. And I've compared like somewhat of how they are, and also of course the comic version of the Flash. And while he is somewhat childish, like he kids somewhat here and there, he doesn't overdo it like it was done in the Justice League movie. I felt the actor playing the Flash, they kind of went a certain way in the direction of his portrayal, which like made him to be kind of like too childish and too, I don't know. It was weird. It kind of like turned me off somewhat. Um, but what else? Oh, the new Batman movie. Also, not too thrilled, and I've seen the trailers and all that, and I've seen like the concept, or the official, I guess now, like bat suit and all that. The one thing I did find interesting, which kind of like did grab my attention somewhat, was the new design on the bat suit, which he has, I guess, like two gun pieces forming the bat symbol in the front. I thought that was pretty cool and original. Um, but other than that, I don't know if this kid was like the right choice for that role. Um, I don't know. I guess we all have to just wait and see because I'm over here. Yeah. If only they did not cancel unnecessary transfers. And see, what's messed up is I'm a big fan of the Flash, and I would love to see him be portrayed like well. Yeah, it lost more and more of his creativity. Yeah, yeah, I agree completely there, man. Um, I don't know. It's kind of messed up because the guy who plays the Flash on the TV series, Chris, what's going on, Chris? Not much, man. Just here drawing and talking to the lovely people on the chat area here. It's good to have you here, though. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of like the guy who plays the Flash on the TV series, and I know that it's really tough to kind of like find someone equally as great as him. to portray him on the big screen, because they're not just going to be like, okay, let's, it'd be way too good to be true if they were like, yeah, let's take this kid and put him in the actual big, because that would be like the ideal way to go, is to take him, the one who plays the Flash in the TV series, and have him on the big screen. That'd be like way too good to be true. So the next best thing would be to find someone, I guess, similar to him, because that other guy just did, I don't know, he just does not convince me. Sunshine, what's going on? What's going on? It's good to have you here. It's good to see more people in the chat. Awesome. I appreciate you stopping by, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love and support. You guys are great. You guys are the best. We're just talking movies, comics, superheroes, and the likes and dislikes of like DC movies, and I'm more of a Marvel type person, I guess. Even though, of course, obviously I have both DC and Marvel gear, but when it comes to the movies, I just tend to lean more towards the Marvel side, just because they've done such a great job in to like transferring from the comics into the big screen, and even awesome, nice. Even though they do changes here and there, because obviously when you do transitions into the big screen from comics or TV shows, there has to be changes. I mean, there's no one movie that will translate completely without changing a thing onto the big screen. It's just, there has to be changes, whether it be subtle or big changes. But they've done a great job at making those changes work for them. And the franchise that they've built over the decade and more, they've done a great job. I mean, hands down, they're like trendsetters. Like right now, DC is trying to mimic what Marvel did on the big screen, and I don't want to say they're completely failing, but they just have to find their own way. They have to find their own thing, whatever that is. Now, when it comes to the TV, like the TV series, there I say DC is doing a great job. Like DC, I'm sorry, when it comes to like TV series and all that, like shows, whether it be live action or animated, they're doing a better job than Marvel, in my opinion. So it's kind of like weird how they do a great job on the small screen, but when it comes to the big screen, they fail. That baffles me. But it is what it is. So for those of you who just entered the chat, welcome. I thank you so much that you're here. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm just drawing Mordecai and Rigby from the regular show as I answer some questions on the chat area, or just kind of like comment on whatever you guys want to talk about. There's no limits to what topic can be talked about. The only thing I ask on the chat area is to try to keep it as clean as possible in regards of like language and all that. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna like ban you or block you if you do. Like you do what you want, but I do humbly ask and respectfully ask to try to keep it as clean as possible. That's all. That's like the only thing I ask. I am drawing Mordecai and Rigby from the regular show. I'll just show you kind of like, you know what? Give me 1 second. I'll just show you off of my phone. So, can't see if yeah. The light doesn't help, but I guess, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That's what I'm drawing. So Nothing crazy, because I was trying to draw Static Shock from the animated series earlier, but I just wasn't feeling it. It was getting too, I don't know. I just wasn't concentrating well enough to like draw them. So I just decided to go an easier route. Yep. But yeah. If you have any questions, Sunshine, or you want to talk about something specific, just let me know, and I'll multitask. I've been drawing since I was really little. Oh, good. So we have that in common. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos that I've done when it comes to like drawing and stuff, but I'll show you some of the stuff that I've done on this channel, actually. So enjoy the radio shows. Oh, you know what? Now you bring that up. I was looking through the series, because they have it on Hulu, the regular show series, and I couldn't remember if I had finished the whole thing through. And apparently, I was missing a bunch of like episodes like I had not seen. So don't spoil the movie or any moment of the movie for me, because I'm gonna finish watching the series first. And obviously, I think the movie is like either the last episode, or I don't know if it's like outside of the whole series itself. But I'm trying to finish the series first. So I'm trying to find. Let's see. All right, so Sunshine. Let me try to get this out the way. So this is an old drawing from like 3 years ago, I think. It's kind of messed up, but it's Flash from the Justice League animated series. And then I did this one, I said like maybe a month or two ago. I'm not exactly sure how long ago. Yeah, it's one of my favorites actually that I've done on this channel, because, and then we have this one. I did like a little wardrobe color change on Poison Ivy. What else? All right, Chris. Hey, take your time, bro. Yeah, Chris, I'll be waiting right here. So no worries. What? Oh, for the colors, believe it or not, I used Sharpies for most of these drawings. I started using water-based colored markers like a month or two ago, and so I kind of like liked it more than Sharpie, surprisingly, because I've always colored with Sharpies, but because Sharpies bleed through the paper so easily, and water-based markers don't, I kind of like, I'm leaning towards using more water-based color markers now. So let's see. A lot of people don't think Sharpie can be good for color. Yeah, I love Sharpies. Sharpies. I used to draw clothing designs like years ago, like T-shirt designs, hat designs, and all that. And I would only use Sharpies because they're so vibrant and they're so, I don't know, they're so clean looking, and they don't leave as many streaks as like water-based colored markers do. So I used to tend to use Sharpies like too much, I guess. And I guess these first ones that I'm showing you have all been with Sharpies. So, you know, even the streaks that it does leave behind, they look smooth. They don't look as scratchy as water-based markers do. So that's the Joker one. And then from this one, that's when I started using water-based colored markers. So this one was a water-based colored marker. This one, I think this was like a mix of both. This is like Sharpies and water-based colored markers. You know, that one. Then I have, let's see. So this one was actually with Sharpies. Well, most of it. I think some areas was with water-based. And as you can see, that crippled hand, I had to cover it up with my signature because I was okay with the mistake or whatever. I really didn't mind the handicapped hand, but because my girlfriend kept pointing it out, like, "Oh, it looks hideous. You should cover it up or something." I was like, kind of like forced to cover it up with the signature. So, but overall, besides the hand, it's one of my better drawings, I guess. Yeah, water based. I'm getting used to it now. Like I really wasn't liking it at first because it scratches the paper. If you're not using the right paper, it tends to like scratch off the fibers of the paper or vice versa. And then this is one of like the last ones that I did. This was with water-based markers. I think this one is one of my best ones yet, just because of the transition of like the shade into like the brighter areas of the suit. Do I use charcoal sticks at all? I have charcoal sticks, but I have not used them yet. Sadly enough, I just can't find. I don't know. I have like a tendency of like drawing uh, a lot of cartoon characters and all that. So it's kind of like hard to like find the right time to or the right moment or character to use like charcoal sticks. And I know you can use them for whoever and whatever, but I just if I use it, I guess I want it to be for something that's like really meant, like for that kind of medium. So, but if ever I do use charcoal sticks, I'll definitely make a video on it and kind of like have it as like first time using charcoal sticks, you know. So this is one of my last ones, and then I think that was also water based. Uh, Very messy, yeah. I bet charcoal just by looking at it, I think you get your hands dirty right away. So that's understandable. Let's see. Trying to find something else. I'm like, oh, here we go. All right. This one was also with water based. Yeah, it's nice. I like how that one turned out. Somewhat, not so much the face, but set it. There we go. Okay. Use hair tracers. Point taken. I will definitely take that advice. Definitely. I've never even, to be honest with you, I think the only times I've seen charcoal being used is in like portrait type drawings and stuff like that. Not to say that that's the only thing you could use it for, but for the most part, that's what I've seen, like portraits and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what I use it for. I think this is also with water-based marker. So I appreciate that tip. That tip. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. There's other stuff on here, but I mean, that. These guys. Basically, for the most part, as you can see, I do like, you know, superheroes or cartoon characters and stuff like that. So there's I don't say a lot of videos, but it's like a few videos of when I did those drawings. So if you get a chance, just check those out. I appreciate it. And yeah. charcoal. I have to put that on my list of videos to do. First time using charcoal. That should be an experience for everybody. Let's see. I'm like almost done drawing Mordecai. I don't even know if I should draw Rigby because it looks like Mordecai's gonna take up like all the time here. It's not even that hard of a drawing, but it's like I'm somewhat of a perfectionist, so if I can, you have, yeah. So it's the same. It should be the same as my YouTube. I'll tell you for sure in a second, just because I was getting on Instagram like a lot a while back ago, but since I've been focusing more on the channel itself. But yeah, so once again, let me see if I can. I could say it, but just for the heck of it, I'm going to show you. All right. It's pretty much the same as my YouTube channel. It's your boy JDQ, and it's going to have a blue flash as a profile pic. All right, and you see a bunch of these drawings on there. So your boy JDQ, no dash in between. It's just straight through your boy JDQ on Instagram. So yeah, you can check the drawings out there too. Awesome. And yeah, I could have shown you I'll just show you here. You're gonna see it anyways. But that's like the last drawing I did. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Do what you gotta do. I'll be right here. I might be on for like another hour or so. So do what you gotta do and I'll be right here. Oh, okay, nice. I just got your follow right now. Awesome. Cool. Got it. I followed you back. So, yep. Sunshine. This is sunshine. But yeah, I only use pencils. We'll watch some online tutorials to learn how to apply oil, pastels, crayons. Since I haven't, might as well see the. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about art, man. Like, there's so many mediums. It's unlimited almost. Like the amount of different mediums there is in art. I mean, there's oils. There's like you said, oil or pastels. There's graphite, freaking charcoal, colored pencils, crayons, what they call adult crayons, markers, paint, acrylic paint, oil-based paint. There's so many. I mean, I have to find a search book and take it. Yeah, definitely. I'll be waiting, and I'll definitely check the drawings out and stuff. See, I like this. Like artists not collabing, but sharing each other's like artwork and all that. That's awesome. It should be like a more of a common thing nowadays, but everybody's so focused on a lot of other things, that don't matter that much. But yeah, feel free to share any artwork that you have, and I'll definitely check it out. I'll like it. And yeah, we can support each other in our artwork and hopefully gain something from it at some point. Like I'm not a professional here, but I like drawing. It's like I said earlier, it's a passion of mine. I enjoy it. It brings somewhat peace to me. Sometimes it just brings frustrations, but mostly it brings peace and harmony. And I just I like it. one of my goals when I was younger was to be a professional cartoonist. But that boat sailed a long time ago, and I don't think I'll be there anytime soon. So that's why I just kind of draw for myself and just draw just to draw. You know, not sad about it or anything like that. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Yeah, that's the word. Relaxing. Very relaxing indeed. Yep. There's something about it. I don't know if it's the initial challenge of like you pushing your brain and hand-eye coordination to its limits and trying to portray either something that you're seeing, something from memory, or something just out of imagination. That's really fulfilling. Like once you're done drawing what you're drawing, and you gave it your all, and you gave it your best, and you really like perfected it as much as you could. Seeing the end results, you know what I'm saying? Like actually seeing like, oh wow, like I made that. Like, that's pretty cool. Like I finished that, or you know how it came out. I like it. I'm very pleased with how it came out, or whatever. You know, what people think is secondary. As long as you like how it came out, and you enjoyed the journey of like constructing the image or whatever, um, then that's what really matters in my eyes. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, when you draw something that comes out better than you thought it would. Yeah, it's like the my last drawing, the Shazam drawing. I kid you not, I breezed through that drawing. Like I was not really paying much attention to it at all because I was streaming like how I'm doing now. I was both drawing and streaming Shazam as I'm doing now, and it was worse because I was actually way more focused on like the conversations on the screen or whatever than the actual drawing. And I'm surprised at how well it came out, being the fact that I wasn't even paying attention that much to the actual drawing. So I was like, that's not bad. Like for me to like rush through it the way I did and it coming out the way it did, I was like, cool. Like, okay, I'll take that win. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I know the feeling. I'm almost done with Mordecai, guys. Almost there. It is satisfying when you're almost done with a drawing. It's like you can rest in peace almost. just missing the outline of the body. This is this right here. Okay, I was right. I got scared there. I thought I ended the line too soon. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I cannot wait to finish this one because, I mean, it's Mordecai, or Mordo, as his friends call him. Mm-hmm. I think the only annoying thing about Mordecai might be the stripes, and that's not even a big deal. Yeah, that's like the only thing that I'm finding out right now. It's kind of like the webbing on Spider-Man's suit. That's like the only tedious thing, and that's why I have not yet even attempted to drawing him on a stream or for a video on the channel because it's kind of like what I said earlier. When you care about a certain character that you're drawing, you tend to do your best because you want to like do him or her justice. So it sucks because it, for the most part, at least me, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, when I'm drawing a character that I really, really like, I put so much stress on myself, and it's just I become too much of a perfectionist because I want to do the character justice or whatever, and it becomes more of a task more than anything, more like a mission, and even more so when it comes to like my favorite character, which is Spider-Man. Well, it's between Spider-Man and Batman, but Spider-Man. Um, I mean, his webbing. They make it seem so easy sometimes because obviously these people who draw him on a daily basis or a constant, frequent basis, they obviously muscle memory kicks in, and they got the hang of it or whatever. But for someone who doesn't draw that character often because they're intimidated by the design or whatever, it's really like challenging. It's like, whoa, like where do I begin? That's how I feel, at least when I'm drawing, like trying to draw Spider-Man or Deadpool or Batman. It's ridiculous because you're like, man, I hope I get this right. Like you know, that's why I haven't done any of those videos yet because I'm like, what if I mess up? And I don't mind messing up. It's just on a personal level, I just wouldn't like to mess up the character. Like I wouldn't want to be the one who messes up the character, whether it be in front of people or just on my lonesome, like knowing that I messed them up. It's like, but yeah, maybe sometime like next month I might give it a shot. We'll see. It just depends on how well I've been doing on my drawings. If I feel confident enough from here to like a month, I might do it. But all in all, like I try to stay away from drawing those characters. Yep. Okay, so all it's missing is the beak and the eye. Well, I mean the eyes, just two dots. How can you screw up two dots, right? Only I can find a way. I bet I can find a way. If you give me enough time, I will definitely find a way to screw up pupils on the character's eyes. Let's see. I think I'll start here. Yeah. Mm. I don't know. I have the feeling that I'm like somehow turning Mordecai into like a Simpsons character for some reason. I don't know if it's because of the eyeballs or what, but that's the feeling. That's the vibe I'm getting right here. It's like a Simpsons character, which I mean wouldn't be bad. But it'd just be like weird though. Like what? What direction am I taking here? It's like Mordecai from the Simpsons universe. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like making Mordecai look like it's some kind of pelican. It's so weird. I kid you not. I'm looking at my version, and I guess I'll just have to finish it to see if it changes after I color it in or whatever. But the beak, like I don't know what is going on here, but it's like looking like a pelican's beak. I guess I don't know. I should try to make it shorter, but oh my goodness, this is terrible. But just doing it for fun, so I can't really expect a masterpiece here. Oh my goodness, this is yeah. Oh my, gotta get my small eraser to get this. This is interesting to say the least. I don't know why it looks that way to me, but it just yeah, I will just have to wait to see, I guess. And you let me know if it looks like a pelican beak or not. Yeah, definitely different breed. Definitely. I don't know. Maybe I should bring the beginning of his mouth like further back. I'm gonna try that. Maybe that's what it is. Also, guys, um, always remember with art, while you're still in the structural part of things, like the base, the foundation part, you can still change things, you can still fix things. So that's the beauty of art. But after you're done coloring that sucker in, that's it. There's no going back. So try to fix your errors in the pencil stage of things. That's the only advice I can give you right now because this Mordecai is almost done, and however it turns out, it turns out. So I'm not going to be here all night doing this. Dear God, I cannot wait for you guys to see this. It looks like a freaking Simpsons character. I kid you not. And it wasn't on purpose. I promise to God, I was trying my best to, you know, do as original as I could, but man, really screwed up here somehow. All right. I guess that's fine. Let's see if I can fix. By the way, Sunshine, are you right-handed or left-handed? Just a random question, since we're talking art here, artist to artist. You know, I think that's always interesting to know who uses what. Um, Obviously, I'm a lefty when it comes to artwork and all that. When it comes to sports, I'm like more right-handed. So in a way, I'm uh, ambidextrous. I think that's the word. But for the most part, like for eating, drawing, writing, whatever has to do with like artwork, um, or like everyday use of things, I use my left hand. Like, but what's weird is, you know how supposedly like left-handers wear their watches on their right. I wear mine's on my left. So, oh, interesting. So you're right-handed, both. But, okay, so same thing as me. Only you lean more towards your. Wow, interesting. So that's like literally opposite of like me. That's crazy. Left for sports. That's weird because hmm, usually, like if you're right-handed for like drawing and stuff like that, like for the most part, from what I've seen, like you end up being right for sports. But if you're left-handed for sports, that's that they won't see that coming. I will give you that much. Like they will not expect it at all. So keep it as your secret weapon. Let's see. I think I found the problem here with the beak. So I'm gonna try to fix it. Like when I eat, I use my left. Okay, so yeah, I can see that. Think I fixed the beat, guys. It's not looking too much like a pelican now. So now we're cooking. Now we are somewhat satisfied. Okay, that was a close one. I think it's because I made the beak like a little too like girthy. I don't know. Trying to get me to go right when I want to use my left. Yeah, I'll give you a good example. Um, Basketball, right? I'll dribble way better with my right. I could not dribble with the left for the life of me, but I could shoot with both, mostly with my right. But every now and then, I'll catch them by surprise and shoot with my left. Um, it wouldn't be as accurate as shooting with my right, but it'd still be like effective, especially from like close range or whatever. Um, Baseball, I cannot throw, pass, or pitch with the left hand at all, but I can do it with my right. Boxing, uh, I'll use a right-handed like stance instead of a southpaw, but for whatever reason, I'll lean more towards like jabbing with my left hand. Um, what else? Mm, what other sport? Oh, on football, I'll throw with my right hand. I can never throw with my left hand, like football. Um, but then when it came to like stuff like tennis or whatever, I'd use my mostly like my left hand. Batting, I bat right-handed. It's just weird stuff like that. So I totally get you too. I completely understand where you're coming from. All right, so this is you bat on the left hand side. Yeah, I tried like once, but it just did not feel natural at all. So I just switched over to the right hand side. All right, so this is the pencil stage with Mordecai, and I'm about to ink him in and hopefully have time to color him in. So let's see. Trying to. Oh man, this is gonna be interesting. Oh yeah, yeah. It looks a lot better than before I fixed the pelican beak situation. Thank you, I appreciate that. Mm. I like the inking part of the whole drawing, but sometimes it's like uncomfortable. Don't know if that has anything to do with me being left-handed or just me not being seasoned enough in inking, but it is quite a challenge. Not gonna lie. But luckily for this kind of drawing, it's pretty straightforward. There's not so much definition in the drawing itself, so that's a relief. It's not like it has like a bunch of like scratch marks like characters in the DC comics and stuff like that. Uh, and for the most part, DC Comics tends to use a lot of like meaningless lines sometimes. I mean, no offense, but sometimes they just, I guess, do it just for the originality of it. I don't know. It's kind of like their trademark to do it that way. But thankfully, this is not one of those characters or styles, so pretty straightforward. Doing the English, yeah. See, I told you. It's the best part. It's just for me, it's like a real challenge. Not right now, because right, like I said, like right, it's just straightforward. It's not that difficult. But for when I do like the really detailed artwork, it's like a challenge, obviously. Oh, by the way, since you just mentioned that inking is your favorite part, which brand do you usually go with? Because right now I'm using like a I don't want to say cheap brand, but it's not a well known brand. Studio Series Microline. Yeah, Studio Series Microline. I use this for the most part, but sometimes I use my Micron. Um, so I don't know if you use any specific brands. Let me know. That way I can give them a try if I haven't already. Because I really do. I don't know. Like these are okay. They work for me for the most part, but I feel like they're too streaky, if that makes any sense, or scratchy. I don't know. And I'm not. I like it to be more like smooth and the quality of the Bristol part or whatever isn't that great. So the Micron, I thought it was gonna be like way better than this one, but it's just like just slightly more comfortable, if anything. Oh, nice. I honestly just have some basic pens. I love getting more of the board. Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so um, fine liners is not your thing, I'm assuming. Which is honestly, I appreciate and respect more people who are more comfortable with like regular pens and all that because honestly, it's more difficult. It's I used to know a coworker of mine who was actually a supervisor of mine at another airport, and he was one of the greatest artists that I had known in person. Because I know people who draw here and there, but knowing that I have met personally and have had a chance to, kind of like share or talk about art with, he's one of the best ones that I ever knew, and he did some amazing things with like regular pens that I'm just like, how in God's name did he do this? This is like something that goes up in a museum, and you did it with a big pen, a big brand pen. Are you serious? I'm talking about he would draw things like portrait style. Just I don't know how he did it honestly. Like I knew how he did it, but still, just the way it came out, just really spoke volumes of his skill. Um, Sadly, he passed away. I think like a year or two ago, and so I was kind of like sad because he was a really great guy. Um, I have nothing but just good things to say about him. Great human being. He was dedicated to his family, his wife, his artwork, uh, and just it's messed up. How he like died or whatever. And every now and then he would share some of his artwork through like Facebook or messaging or whatever, and I would like take him as as an example for me to like follow, like a role model. There we go. Struggling with the words here for a second. But he was definitely a role model when it came to art. I was like, man, I hope like one day I can be like that good because he made everything look so defined and detailed with like a pencil or a regular pen or you know anything he had in his vicinity to use. And I learned to respect and appreciate people who draw with everyday pens and pencils. Oh man, I kind of put the wrong feather in front of the wrong one or whatever. My dad saw that I was 2007. I was 5. They told me to help me get my pens and told me I had a mistake. Great advice. I mean, I wouldn't have said anything different. That's exactly what that does. Drawing does help a lot in that area. Um, naturally, I'm very like I don't want to say ADHD because that's not what it is, but usually I am like really distracted. Um, started taking classes, some regular things. Yeah, and I admire that of you, and I respect that. That's that's great because I cannot. I mean, I try every now and then. You know, I kind of sketch stuff out with like regular pens. Um, every now and then just to kind of like practice or whatever. But nothing comes out as good as I versus me using like other mediums. So one day I'll get there though, hopefully. Mm, I think I'm done lining him out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm done here. All right. So I'm scared to erase some of this stuff because let's see. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. I'll just do. Sometimes erasing these lines, I accidentally like kind of go over the actual inking and it messes up the actual drawing in the process. But I'm gonna try to do this as clean as possible. And I know I'm supposed to let it dry or whatever, but this is for the stream, so that's why I'm gonna kind of like speed through that process and not letting it dry as it as I should. Um, hopefully, it won't turn out too bad. I'm trying to be as careful as I can, just erasing the pencil lines. I guess I should have had some kind of fan next to me drying this out as I was going through the inking process, but screw it. We'll just get things done here on this channel. It's funny that we are talking about art while I'm drawing Mordecai, because apparently Mordecai went to art school. So I thought that was funny. Funny coincidence. The irony, I guess. Right. So, okay, so there we have Mordo in the inking stage. I mean, not too bad, I guess. It's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. And I was gonna do Rigby, but I think I'm gonna pass on Rigby. It's 2 hours now, almost 2 hours and a half. So, not that I wouldn't like to be here all night, but I do work tomorrow. So I do have to have some kind of like limit to myself. So I am definitely going to color this in right now. As soon as I'm done coloring him in, I will call it a night with you guys. So just keep that in mind. Search for colors. Let's see. Okay, so we got that kind of blue. I want to use my Sharpies because it's closer to the color that I'm looking at, but I don't want to have it bleeding through like that. So, yeah, this kind of sucks. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate that, Sunshine. That means a lot coming from you. So thank you a lot. Give me 1 second. I think I'll go with this one. All right, so we have this blue, and I guess a navy blue. Do we even have? Yeah. I'm almost sure. Yeah, this. Maybe this one. Yeah, I'll just use that one, I guess. It's going to be a chance for me to try colors I haven't tried it. Obviously not this one, because this one I have used a lot. You can tell right there. I've used this quite a bit because apparently I like a lot of blue characters. Go figure. My favorite color is blue. More so royal blue, or as some would call it, peacock blue. But yeah, it's just a weakness that I have. I go towards blue colored characters. And I am not liking how this one is coming out right away. I might have to use a Sharpie on this one. I don't know. I'm scared to. I'll just see how far I can get with this one. It just looks so dirty though. I feel like it's like not that much left in here already. It's definitely giving out. So this is going to be like an abstract Mordecai, I guess. Definitely not an exact replica. You know, sky blue used to be my favorite blue, but I think some character kind of like messed it up for me. I forgot who it was that they were like in that color, and I was like, it turned me off. Yeah, my name is Sapphire Blue. Sapphire Blue. That's like okay. I like that. It's extreme. That's cool. I don't like blue that much. Like I love blue, but not that much. Like I don't see myself dyeing my hair blue anytime soon. But you know, cool. Like if you did it, that's awesome. I bet it look great. Let's see. I don't know. We might get away with this. We might get away with using this marker for Mordecai here because it's like not that much ink or whatever like left in it, but it's gonna be just enough to finish the body portion or whatever. So that's good. His body is like some kind of weird like ice cream, like tannish blue, like light grayish color. I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna have to find like some kind of grayish blue in my repertoire. See if I have it. Definitely came out extreme. Yeah, but uh, extreme dying. Well, did everybody else? Okay, hold on. It actually came out pretty good. I have blue eyes, so it kind of matched. See, and that works. Like blue and blue, you know, awesome. It probably brought your eyes out even more if that's the case. Because you know how like when you're wearing something that of the same color of your eyes or something off of your skin tone or whatever, it kind of brings out everything else that's that color. So cool. I can only imagine. I should definitely be drawing in the darker lines first because apparently it might be too difficult to color afterwards. So let me just do it now before I forget. I think I should have picked a darker one, but this will do, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, I should have tried to find. Oh, well, I should have looked for a darker blue than this because this is a bit brighter than what I hoped for. But then again, these caps don't really match up with the color that comes out. So it's not my fault completely. Oh, it did? You see? Yeah. I figured. That's what tends to happen. I tried my grandmother's contact lens like years ago, and they were green, and they really stood out because obviously they weren't my natural colors or whatever. And whenever I wore some like bright green shirts or whatever, like polos that I used to use back in the day, it would really bring out like the color in the eyes, and people would be like, asking like, "Hey, like, there's something different about you. I can't tell what it is." And when they finally figure it out, it's like too late. Like, oh, it's freaking awesome. Like green on a brown person looks so amazing. And I think that's why I did it because I knew that the contrast of like being like the color that I am with like bright green colors would look like really different. And I did that for like a few days just to see how it felt or whatever, and got a lot of attention, some unwanted attention as well. But it was fun while it lasted. And who knows, maybe one day, just for the fun of it, I might buy non correctional like contact lens, just like special effects contact lens, just for the heck of it, just to like have like a different look every now and then. Yeah, it looked pretty cool. It was like I said, like that strong contrast really stood out, I guess. I'm having trouble picking out a color for the body. I honestly just don't know which grayish, bluish color that is. It's weird looking. I don't even think I have that kind of blue. Mm, I guess I could try to blend something over here, but no. Hey, the blue don't know what to do there. Hmm. Oh, I forgot to finish the arm. Silly goose. Man, I think I dirtied some of the hand here because the ink wasn't dried up all the way. But anyways, as this drawing comes to an end almost, I have to ask, uh, do you have any recommendations for the channel? Any feedback? Any do's or don'ts? Any suggestions? You know, anything that comes to your mind, just let me know. Because I want to make sure that the channel, you know, is at its best. I hope I'm pumping out the best content that I can. And yeah, like I'm here to satisfy you guys, you know, put out content that you guys like. So if you have any ideas or recommendations, just let me know. Let's see. This one. I'll watch some more videos tonight and I'll mess around. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely appreciate the feedback. Definitely, I appreciate you stopping by and chatting with me while I do this, keeping me company and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you for that. Let's see if I can kind of darken this more. Good. My stomach is growling. That means that I'm hungry, right? It should mean that. Okay. That. I feel like I'm missing markers here. Like I'm not seeing them or something. I'm pretty sure there's somewhere else. But I can't believe I forgot to do the tail feathers. I feel like my lack of focus and concentration is coming from like somehow me wanting to like finish the stream already. Subconsciously, it's like my mind is telling me, all right, you're done. Like you're done for today. Like just keep it moving, man. Like eat something, go to sleep. But I usually don't do this. I don't do live streams that much. But when I do try to stay as long as I can. And I mostly do streams when I'm drawing, so it makes sense to stay as long as I can, to finish the drawing and whatnot. But yeah, essentially, I like giving the chance, the opportunity to people to speak up and, you know, say their concerns or their likes or the dislikes of the channel, or, you know, all that good stuff. Happy to hang out and support what you do. Hey, I appreciate you. A big bear hug from me to you. I really do appreciate it. So, it's done. The drawing is finished and it's colored in. Not as well as I want it to be, because this blue was giving out and I can't find the right gray to color some areas in. So he's done, but not really, in a way. But I'm going to give you guys the results in a second. That way you can either love me or roast me. Either way is fine. I'm open for both sides of the coin. It is what it is. But yeah, so let's see. Not bad. Not bad for, I don't know how long it took, but it's not bad at all. It's a quick illustration of Mordecai. Hopefully you guys like it. All right. But if you don't, I'll understand. I'll definitely understand. Anyways, guys, Sunshine, Andrew, who else is on here? Just take a roll call real quick. You two are the only ones I can see right off the bat. I can't really see who else is here. But Andrew and Sunshine, everybody else who's on here, thank you from the bottom of my heart for keeping me company while I do this. Thank you for the support, the love, being part of this community. Thank you for everything, for all the likes, the comments, the chatting, everything. Love you guys to death. And I can't thank you enough. I'm always grateful and thankful for every single one of you. God bless all y'all. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So I don't have anything extremely exciting tomorrow, but I guess every video is a surprise when it comes to this channel. So, hey, appreciate that, Sunshine. Appreciate that. But just keep an eye out for tomorrow. It could be anything from, you know, certain streams. It could be another artwork. It could be an unboxing. It could be anything. Literally on this channel, a lot goes on. So just keep an eye out. All right. And yeah, share this with anybody else who, you know, likes drawing and cartoons and the regular show and all that stuff. I'll appreciate it. And yeah, good night from the dirty South, Florida. And peace. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, Andrew and Sunshine, and everybody else. Peace out.